Hey everybody, and hope everybody's doing good. So happy New Year! And thanks again for watching. Much appreciated, and hope everything is well. Subscribe if you haven't, and leave comments. Let me know if you have any thoughts, suggestions, ideas. So I've been learning a lot over the past couple of years, and appreciate it. Yeah, gonna keep going. But I wanted to speak briefly about AI and the potential of AI for mind control, because it's just like, no pun intended, it's just like blowing my mind recently because I didn't really realize the implications of such things. So I've been trying to just analyze it, on my own, but also trying to ask questions and analyze answers about how this sort of thing works and the potential for technology as far as, well, it's unlimited in nature, really. And Bill Gates, I was watching an interview, and he said there's nothing like AI. It is truly the first technology that is literally unlimited in its capabilities. And when you think about that, it's true how we can apply it to health, which means longevity and theoretically, ultimately, physical immortality. If we're able to master technology, now we can create matter. It's on the government websites. You can go read that on the Department of Government websites. We've done experiments, and of course they're decades ahead of what they've released to the public, but I think it was a few years ago where they admitted to being able to create matter from the ether or the field of energy, this all permeating, infinitely abundant field of energy that everything comes from. So zero-point energy, and what that is tapping into this field of energy, and it's limitless. Remember, space-time is infinite, and it consists of this energy that never depletes, because if space is infinite, it's made of this energy. Some people call it, or relate it to God. Some people call it, I think, the ether in scientific terms. I could be wrong, but it's a reality that we can see and prove and map and tap into. Unlimited energy, and now the ability to create matter from this unlimited field of energy. I've talked about it a little bit in other videos, but think about that, the implications. So free energy for forever, once we could tap into that, or are allowed to, as our technology progresses. And unlimited, if we can create unlimited matter, no more limited resources. And there's implications, like I was saying, for physical longevity, immortality, unlimited ability to create things like resources, homes, for example, to even manipulate weather patterns and prevent things like, natural disasters, and be able to manage the cycles of nature using unlimited technological capabilities, thanks to the possibility of AI and unlimited energy and creating matter. It's insane if you think about it. So, and we're in this process now where this stuff has been realized for a while, but it's now being admitted and protected, and understandably so. This is stuff that we need to manage. Like with anything, comes great responsibility. It could be used for good or bad. So that being said, and speaking of which, I wanted to just talk about like the potential for things related to the mind, like mind control, because I used to not really be a big believer in it. Yeah, hypnosis, I believe it, and I've seen it in real life. Like, I believe in that sort of thing, but the ability to really control someone's mind, I always thought it was more difficult, as far as, only certain people are more susceptible to it, and it's not foolproof. Well, with technology, it can be made more foolproof. So, and that's what kind of blew my mind, as far as, wow, this is scary stuff, and I wanted to look at it in the lens of, good and bad, like with anything, and it's really interesting. So as far as, so just to kind of start conceptually, we are, because I was trying to figure out how it's even possible. Well, at a basic level, so humans, right, we're physical and non-physical. We have these two aspects of self, and we have minds, and we store information, and we think, and that's how we communicate, and things like that. So if we could simply create an AI supercomputer and give it the concept and information of thought and process of analyzing things, It's just like a superhuman, something that can. And remember, everyone can hear their own thoughts. We can't hear people thinking, or that's all non-physical energy. That's what psychic abilities are, tapping into this field of, in large part, non-physical energy. So, and with supercomputing speed, a computer can tune into your thoughts. We give it the understanding of what non-physical energy are, thoughts, just like we do when we read and write. But they can, remember, a quantum computer can process things just infinitely times faster than even modern day computers. So I think quantum processing or computing is like the next level of where it's going. So, and is what's opening the door to infinite potential. So if you think about it, if computers can be created to listen to and monitor thoughts, they can control thoughts. And even if it's not done, even if thoughts are placed on your head and you're like, where did that come from? Because I think overall most of us would be able to tell, wait a minute, I wasn't thinking that. Like, where did that come from? Physical control, using the ability to, just take over someone's physical body and just kind of like guide them, like a robot. And so you wouldn't have to worry about if the mental triggers kick in or not. You could just literally find a way to use fields of energy to control somebody, make them do something, or whatever you want. So the possibility exists both physically and non-physically, which is scary because, say, in a more authoritarian society, absolute thought control and physical control of a human being at any given time is a dictator's perfect dream. It's like the ability to absolutely shape things to your will and make everything, the rule of law is just based on what you say, and what you say goes. And in that sense, it's a little bit terrifying because you don't want the wrong person to get a hold of this technology. So that has to be protected and managed, and of course managed for good, like with any real technology. So make sure it's used as appropriately as possible. But the possibility for good exists too. There's an interesting gray area too, right? So as far as, say, but this takes careful trust, of course, and the ability to use this sort of thing for good. Meaning this, I don't know if you've seen the movie Minority Report, but it's based on the ability to see what someone's thinking and then follow their actions until they're about to commit a crime, and you arrest them right before they do, and then they go to jail for that. So they don't actually commit it, but their thoughts, and they read their physiological signs and everything to the point where they're seeing that they're going to commit a crime, and the cops literally teleport in. It's a really great movie. And then they stop the crime right literally before it happens, and they stun the person, and they go to jail for it. So that's really used to be like science fiction or beyond possible for me, but now understanding this a little bit better, it's absolutely possible. Could you imagine if say like the government, even more free liberal Western oriented societies, if they were able to do this sort of thing and not plot or plant thoughts or control you, but really rather monitor things to the point where a crime is inevitable, and then to stop you before it happens. It's possible, but again, there's a lot of moral questions that come up with this sort of thing, and a lot of trust with monitoring. And if they can do that, can they erase our memories? Or if that's the case, like, can they make me do something like assassinate someone and I don't even remember, and frame you for it? Of course they can with that sort of technology, but the implications for peace that it will bring to a society can't be ignored and have to be considered and discussed. But again, I think we're far away off from that, but the potential theoretically is there, and true and real. And it's just like, how do you use this sort of thing? If at all, even. I mean, maybe we shouldn't even use that sort of thing at all, which is another idea. But even like physical paralysis, that'd be cool too, right? Like, let's say someone takes hostages at a bank or something, the ability to just stun that person from a distance, pinpoint their location, and just completely neutralize them is absolutely like invaluable. So stuff like that is not out of the question either. And I think it's really amazing. Again, I think we're a long way off from that, but the direction we're headed, and simply the fact that it's an analytical possibility, theoretically, theoretical possibility is pretty mind-blowing. And it's just gonna, where humanity's gonna be in a couple hundred years is, and we're just in the process of that. So it's pretty amazing to think, and hopefully we don't screw it up. We don't set ourselves back, or fight amongst ourselves too much, or do whatever we're doing now, rather. But because infinite resources and 0-point energy and longevity and health, these are the things that all basic humans need, and it would eliminate all the conflict based on that. And if we could, next step, ideological and religious differences, and perhaps like historical grievances amongst people. But I think if everyone was equally, like military never go away. We always need to protect ourselves internally and from external threats too. So, but if everyone, that being said, if everyone had free energy and resources to thrive at all times, and our conflicts and economies and things like that aspect of it was taken out of the picture, and housing and unlimited amounts of it, would really be a game changer, and I think can even help solve a lot of other tribal differences we may have. Not all of them, but it would be a huge step in the right direction. Anyways, so I thought that was really interesting, and where we go from here, it's probably why the government doesn't talk about it too much. There's stuff called like the Manchurian Candidate. I think it was an old CIA program where they tried to test people to activate through hypnosis and psychological programming commands in people, for example, for like assassination purposes or spy missions. So it was a very real experiment from what I understand. Partially successful, but really with technology and the ability now with AI, it really opens the door for that all over again, and makes it much more successful technology, more consistent. And so again, I think that's why the government really doesn't talk about it. Could you imagine if these conversations even started happening? It could even cause panic. Like, as far as, well, are you guys doing that now? How do we know? I think we know for a large degree. We could track the time all consistently, and there's many of us, and we all have memories to the point where we know what's going on. But even starting these conversations, I think, is a very careful thing to do, because it could cause all sorts of disruptions if not handled carefully. So, but we're going to get there eventually, I think, and it has to be discussed. Just when and how it unfolds is interesting stuff to think about as far as humanity goes. So anyways, I just wanted to share those thoughts and put that out there. And if you have any thoughts or information to share along those lines, yeah, I'd love to hear it as usual. So, all right. Well, thanks again, and take care.